In this video, I'll be sharing all of the subtle mindset shifts that I have picked up over my years of traveling. These mindset shifts have been integral in transforming my social life during my solo trips. Hello, my name is Bahrawi, and on this channel, I share some of the stuff that has helped me level up my life, whether I'm traveling or at home. Now, a quick thing that I want to emphasize before starting with these mindset shifts is that not everyone that you are going to meet during your solo trips and spend time with will ultimately end up being a friend in the true sense of the word. But what I'm really referring to here is trying to have a positive social interaction or positive social interactions in the broader sense of the word. This could really mean anything from just having an interesting conversation to going out with other people to see stuff, maybe see some museums, go to a park, attend a concert together, whatever it is, or just in general experiencing stuff together. Tip number one, which is by far the most important, is taking the initiative. So there is no denying the fact that if you are solo traveling and want to actually connect with other people and meet new individuals and do stuff with them, you will have to be the one trying to initiate the conversations and taking the initiative. At least in most situations, this will be the case. During my solo trips, I have been approached countless times by maybe other solo travelers or people traveling in general. But in a lot of situations, I would be on the edge about talking to someone. And I would say, 90% of the cases, it would be the right thing to do. Like me taking the initiative to talk to someone, in most cases, led to a positive social interaction. For example, during my last solo trip, I was in Vienna, and the last day I didn't have any specific plans and I wasn't feeling the energy to think about what I'm going to do or anything. So I was just chilling in the common room in the hostel. And then I saw this girl just on her Kindle and just living in her own space. I tend to carry my Kindle a lot, and it's not very often that I see someone reading on their Kindle. So should I just casually talk to her or just let her be and let her enjoy her reading experience? So I decided to take the initiative and just casually comment on her Kindle or comment on what she was reading. I honestly don't remember what I said. And as always, I just do this thing where I just talk to people casually. And you can sense the vibe if they want to continue the conversation or if they want to be left alone. And that's completely fine. And we talked for a little bit, not a little bit, we talked for almost an hour. And then at the end of the conversation, she told me that she was going with a friend to the Albertina Museum, which is a very cool museum in Vienna that I have not been to before. And she asked me if I want to come with them. And that was an amazing idea. And after maybe 30 minutes or so, we met at the common room and we went together to the Albertina Museum. And it was a very cool experience. And yeah, that was one of countless stories that started the same way, where I had this question in my mind: should I approach someone? Should I talk with someone casually or not? And in most cases, it ends up being the right call. And even if she was a little bit standoffish, she didn't want to talk, it would be completely fine. I would just, okay, I'll tell her, enjoy your reading experience or enjoy your Kindle, and just move on with my day and see what I was going to do anyway. So, and also I like the spontaneity of it. So because I had zero plans and I'm not a very big art person, I wouldn't normally go to a museum by myself or with other people to begin with. But when she asked me if I want to go with them, and I thought, why not? Albertina Museum is a must see in Vienna and I haven't been before. So I went with them and I actually enjoyed my experience in the museum much more than I thought that I would. So overall, it was an amazing day just because I decided to take the initiative. Maybe I am being repetitive a little bit, but I think this is by far the point that makes the most difference while solo traveling, is that if you have this question in your head, should I talk to someone or not? Barring, for example, if there is very visible social clues that some person want to be left alone, I think the answer is always, yeah, you should go for it and just be respectful and just be very casual about how you approach people. And based on the energy that they reflect back, you decide what you're going to do next. I think this is just basic. social dynamics or social etiquette anywhere, but especially while solo traveling, especially people staying at hostels, people are much more open to be approached, especially if they are just staying and chilling in the common room. And through this simple thing of always taking the initiative when the environment seems right and appropriate, I have had experiences or encounters ranging from just a fun 5 minute conversation to spending the entire day with someone to even reshuffling my entire itinerary to meet someone at another city. So it is the most important point in this video. It is just the ability to be able to push out of your comfort zone if you are not already a very extroverted person and initiate conversations with other people in a respectful manner. The second point, which is kind of related to the first point, is internalizing or thinking about how other solo travelers feel. Actually, most solo travelers are looking forward to have conversations with other people and form connections. Of course, there are exceptions to every rule, and some people truly want to be left alone, either in general or in this particular patch of their trip. But in my experience, most solo travelers that I've met are actually willing to form connections and meet other people while traveling solo. Again, especially if you are like doing the activities that the hostel is providing, staying in the common room, talking to people, like there are signs that someone wants to have social interactions, and there are signs that someone just wants to be left alone. So just keeping this at the back of my mind has helped me initiate conversations with others or making the task less daunting, knowing that most likely people want to be talked to. Now, the next point is understanding the language barrier. When I'm staying at hostels, it seems like almost everyone is able to speak at least a little bit of English. And even if someone's English is not very good, they tend to make the effort of trying to express themselves in English as well, because it's basically the universal language of communication when traveling. However, some people would feel a little bit self conscious because they feel that their English is not so good. So that might appear like they are closed off or don't want to talk or just giving you negative vibes. And this is more the case with locals than with travelers, whether you meet at a walking tour, whether you meet at a hostel. So I found the following the best approach to make people feel at ease, which is like an extremely uh, simple thing. It's not like an approach or a technique or anything. It's just basic human decency. Is that I go to a local person and I say hello in the local language. So, for example, when I was in Bosnia, I would just go and say Zdravo, which is hello in Bosnian. And then I would proceed to ask if the person speaks English. And even if they speak basic English, but they do not feel like interacting with you, it gives them a way out to say, no, not very good. However, more often than not, a lot of locals would say that they speak very little English or their English is not so good, but we will proceed to have a nice conversation. And since we're talking about the language barrier, I feel like I want to share a lot of experiences that reflect that, yes, it's very hard to meet people with a major language barrier who, of course, do not speak your mother tongue, but also do not speak English at all, or their English is very basic. But the interactions that I had with people with major language barrier who we can't like communicate via language actually was like very memorable for me, at least. For example, I had this very random interaction with this Macedonian girl in Skopje in North Macedonia. She spoke very little English, and of course I spoke zero Macedonian. And the conversation basically started with just body language and then proceeded to us talking via Google Translate, literally. And it's very memorable that like you are able to have a conversation with someone who speaks 0% of the language, or not 0%, but very little of a common language at least. But you can still have a full, I wouldn't say a full blown conversation, but kind of a proper conversation with them. In another occasion where I was going from Serbia to North Macedonia via a bus. I sat beside this 50 something year old Serbian man who spoke zero English, and I mean zero English. Of course, I spoke zero Serbian as well, except for like being able to say hello and some basic things, which is like zero Serbian for that matter. And he would speak to me in full blown Serbian, and I would reply in English. And through body language and just trying to get the context of what he was saying, I was able to like understand a little of what he was trying to convey. I wouldn't say it was the most memorable conversation because I literally do not remember what he was telling me at the moment, but it was quite fun. And of course, it's very hard to form friendships this way when there is like a major language barrier, but sometimes it leads to very memorable, very fun experiences. Now, let me tell you that this random interaction actually saved my trip from being completely derailed, or at least saved me a lot of money and headache. So let me tell you why. So the point where I took the bus from was a city called Niš in Serbia. And I was supposed to go to a place in North Macedonia called Ohrid, an amazing place, by the way. Okay, so based on the ticket or what was written on the ticket, I should go directly from Niš to Ohrid. But what actually happened is that the bus went from Niš to Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, first, and then it stopped. And I should have known that I should have changed buses from the bus I was on to another bus that was going from Skopje to Ohrid. And because the bus driver explained this in Macedonian, of course, I had no idea what was happening. I thought that we were just having a break in Skopje and then we would continue to our destination to Ohrid. But because I mentioned the word Ohrid to that Serbian guy who was sitting beside me, he understood what was happening, even though he was not able to convey or explain to me that I should change the buses. But through just body language and him telling another girl who speaks Macedonian and speaks also English, she was able to tell me that if my plan is to go to Ohrid, I would have to get off the bus right now and go to this other bus, which was like literally leaving in a minute or so, which is like very lucky to have happened to me because otherwise I would have to stay in Skopje. I would miss the bus to Ohrid. I already had accommodation in Ohrid. So it was just going to be a major headache. And the day was saved just because I had this very random interaction with the Serbian guy. Another point is being conscious about your social battery and taking the time to recharge it when you feel like you need to. And a point that I want to emphasize here is that there is a big difference between feeling lonely and experiencing solitude. If your intention out of the solo trip is to truly be by yourself and this is the kind of trip where you just want to enjoy your own company, that's completely valid. But also, if your intention was to connect with other travelers while solo traveling, you will feel lonely on some days. That is inevitable and that is okay as well. But the interesting thing is that I often feel the opposite of that on my solo trips as opposed to other types of trips that I have with other people, meaning that I more often feel socially overwhelmed in solo trips. That might sound counterintuitive, but the fact that I am staying in hostels and meeting new people every day and having this spontaneous, amazing experiences, and like you meet so many new people and you do a lot of stuff with them that at some days you feel like you are stretched thin socially. So I need my time to recharge. So in some days I would want to be by myself, even if there were some interesting plans. In most cases, if there were interesting plans, I would do them, to be completely honest, and I would take the slow days to just be by myself. I would just go to a cafe and read on my Kindle, do some work, whatever it is that I enjoy doing when I am by myself and I would just do it. So it does not have to be every single day where you go at it and have an amazing experience and meet new people. It does not have to be this way. One of my best solo trip days ever was when I went to a museum with a couple of guys from my hostel. It was called the Museum of Broken Hearts or something like this. It was in Belgrade. I don't remember, but it was super, super interesting. And then I had met the day before a Dutch girl in my hostel, and we made plans that we would meet and explore the city together. And we actually did. So after the museum, I went out with this girl and we stayed for like 3 or 4 hours just walking and like exploring different parts in Belgrade and had some of the most interesting conversations. Shout out to my great, great friend Eva from the Netherlands. And then after that, she actually invited me to go out with her to meet a couple of friends that she met in a walking tour that she had in the morning. And I went to that walking tour and it was super, super random because some of the guys that were on the table were from Egypt. Like, I want you to think about it. What are the odds of me meeting other Egyptians in Belgrade, the capital of Serbia, and for those Egyptians to be acquainted with the people that my friend met in the morning in a walking tour? That's very, very random. But hey, it was a great, great, great night. And like literally at the end of the night, we ended up dancing in the street with random Serbian guys that were on the other table beside us. And we were like dancing with them on like folklore Serbian music or whatever it is. And it was a blast. It was a great night. But what I'm trying to say is that after this day, and I had been like socializing and enjoying my time during my stay in Belgrade, I was so burned out socially, even though I was having the time of my life. I had to take a day off where, or like half a day off where I just don't socialize with anyone. So I took my Kindle and my MacBook and I went to a coffee shop and I just enjoyed a very, very slow day. And I actually very, very much enjoyed it. I think I'm taking this video as like an excuse to share these cool stories, but I don't want it to come off as me showing off other than trying to emphasize the points that I'm trying to make in this video and how they have positively affected my experiences. And now I have very fond memories that I wouldn't have if I didn't actually practice the points that I'm trying to emphasize or highlight in this video. Another tip that could be very beneficial that is tied to this point, I definitely have the financial capabilities to be able to stay at Airbnbs and private accommodation. But when I go do say solo trips, I consciously and actively choose to stay at hostels to just meet people and have nice social interactions. But what you can do is that interspersed between hostel days, you can just book an Airbnb for a couple of days, stay at a very luxury resort, something like this, where you just chill and stay there to just recharge your social battery. And then you can just book another hostel and continue the cycle. So to tie off everything in this video, and I think this is very personal and everyone is different, but for me, what makes travel memorable is actually the people that you meet, not the sights that you see. So in conclusion, the most important thing is to take the initiative. When you feel that feeling of, should I do this or should I not do it? If the social context allows for it, I would always recommend that you go for it. So in this video, I've mostly tackled the mindset shifts that have helped me to meet people while solo traveling. But if you want some practical tips on how to meet people, like where to stay and what activities to try, I would recommend that you watch the video that I have published about this particular thing. Now, I want to thank you very, very much for sticking till the very end of this video. I would really appreciate you leaving a like and subscribing to the channel. Thank you and have a nice rest of your day.